Hey, Randy Hunter here from beginningsax.com. Now, in this beginning sax tips video, I want to show you the G scale, the G major scale. Now, I know that the scale word is dreaded by many folks learning to play instruments, musical instruments, saxophone, any instrument. Folks just are, I don't know if it's afraid or just don't like the thought of the drudgery maybe of practicing scales, but understanding why we do scales can help with that. Now scales, and here's the G scale that we'll be learning first. Scales can help you understand key signatures. So for instance, if you're playing a tune that's in the key of G, maybe many of the notes in the song are based on the G scale. The G scale again. So there I played the opening line from When the Saints Go Marching in the key of G. Now maybe I'm playing with a group of musicians and they want to play it in the key of C. Well, if I know the C scale, it's easy for me to transpose that melody to the key of C, etc. You get the point. Now, the other value is that if you're just interested in learning to play some tunes by ear, and let's take the Saints for instance, maybe you decide you want to play it based on notes in the G scale. Now, not every tune is just based on notes from one particular scale, but many tunes are based largely around notes from one particular scale. The Saints is another example. So if I can sing the Saints, I play the G scale, I kind of hear that melody. Well, I could go through and pick out the whole melody by ear like that. Now, also, if you want to work on improvising, then knowing scales really provides the basis for your improvisation vocabulary. So again, the G scale. A little improvisation based on the G scale. Just a little simple improvisation. Now, again, knowing one scale doesn't mean that you can improvise over any tune. Maybe some tunes are based specifically on one scale and you can improvise on those. But, you know, learning different scales will help with your ability to improvise. So, again, scales provide us with the ability to understand key signatures, to play by ear, to have musical vocabulary for improvising, and really just they are the foundation of music, Western music specifically. You know, so scales, if you're playing country music, rock and roll, jazz, classical, scales are an essential part of the vocabulary. Okay, enough of that rhetoric. Now, let's get down to learning the scale. So, first of all, let me mention any beginning sax method will help you, will probably be based somewhat on scales, but often you learn how to read things. So I'd like to learn this one without necessarily reading the notes, and you can go to my website beginningsax.com, and I've got a fingering chart, a scale sheet, a complete series of beginning saxophone lessons there, all designed to help you learn how to play the saxophone with a solid foundation. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and skip to learning the scale. Now the G scale starts on G, and if you know your fingerings, you know G is just 1, 2, 3, 3 fingers. The G scale has one sharp in it, F sharp. We'll get there in a minute. But we start with the G, 3 fingers. You can see I've got the 3 fingers pressed on the front of the sax on the keys. And you again, if you go to beginningsax.com, I've got a making sounds lesson for free on the home page, and I've also got a getting started page that'll help you understand the fingerings a little better and the finger placement, all of that if you're not certain. We won't use the octave key on our first G. That's your thumb key right there. So G. The next note is A, so we lift the bottom finger, and I'm going to curl my finger back. Now you wouldn't do this when you're playing, I just want to do it so you can visually see that I've got the first 2 fingers pressed. That's A, that's the second note of the G scale. The third note, I'm going to lift one more finger, so now I've got just the first finger pressed. That's a B. So let's review those 3 notes. G, A, B. The next note goes to the middle C, so I'll press the middle finger in the left hand. I'm lifting all the other keys. So G, A, B, C. And then next we cross the break on the saxophone. We add the octave key, that's your thumb key on the back, and all three of the fingers like we had for the G, and all three of the fingers, the first three fingers in the right hand over the first three keys on your saxophone. I'm trying to get this so you can see this. So all of the keys with pearls in the right hand are pressed. So now we've got G, A, B, C, D. Now we're just going to continue right up the line. We've got the D pressed. Keep your D pressed. Lift your ring finger in your right hand. So we've only got the two fingers in the right hand. Still have everything in the left hand, including the octave key for our E. There's D followed by E. Now, the F sharp, we're going to keep everything in the left hand pressed and lift the first finger in the right hand. So right now, all we've got is our middle finger in the right hand pressed on the middle pearl in the right hand. Everything in the left hand, including the octave key. This is our F sharp. And then the high G, the top tone on the scale, for now anyway, is the same fingering as the low G, except with the octave key. So we've got the three fingers in the right hand and the octave key. So, listening to the G scale. And then in reverse, it's just the same notes backwards. G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. So the whole thing. Okay, now remember, I've got a lot of material on beginningsax.com. On the homepage, you'll find a fingering chart. You'll find getting started lessons, that take you through making sounds on the instrument and finger placement and some of these notes. And there's also a scale sheet available there. So if you have any problems finding any of this stuff, just shoot me an email and I'll help you out. Okay? And I hope if you're a beginner that you'll consider using my beginning saxophone lesson series. I think it'll get you off on a good start, and you'll have fun improvising very early in the lesson series. Okay, so the G scale.